Good morning and welcome to Spleenology 101. Frost and Harsel define clinical hoarding as 1. The acquisition of and failure to discard a large number of possessions that appear to be of useless and of limited value. 2. Living spaces sufficiently cluttered as to preclude activities for which those spaces were designed. And 3. Significant distress or impairment in functioning caused by this hoarding. I am Dr. Jo Benny, and I am an ex-sufferer of this OCD affliction. It is through my own experiences with this disease that I shall be talking to you today about the breakthroughs revolutionizing the medical world. Nothing so concrete and pivotal to our understanding of the connection between body and soul has ever been discovered before. As a leading university of medical research in Sydney, it is our duty to you, the students, to report the latest findings. And I can tell you now that what I'm going to present has completely transformed the world's understanding and treatment of mental illness and has already enhanced the lives of thousands worldwide, myself included. As the studies are so new, case studies have not been officially documented and released. Interviews are still being conducted with patients and doctors are still filing certified reports. It is for this reason that I shall delve into my own experiences as indication and support of these breakthroughs. My obsessive-compulsive hoarding disorder started when I was 12. I developed a deep animosity with throwing out all my childhood memorabilia as all my friends managed to do so effortlessly. I secretly started storing all these remnants from the past, and by the age of 22, my obsessive hoarding had escalated to such a degree that I'd started collecting the memories of others too. I tried to keep the past alive, and I sacrificed my own future in return. The gloom of all the deadened things, they weighed on me like heavy flakes of snowy years. Whole rooms in my house were filled with wilted flowers, torn, irreparable clothes, receipts, locks of hair, and old sphinxes. I became paralyzed and trapped in the past, unable to function in daily life and move forward. I was nothing more than a tomb decaying and storing all these remnants of the past. Eventually, my friends and my family intervened. This took years as I was so filled with shame over my unhealthy behavior and I had managed to evade their attention. But eventually, and thankfully, it caught up with me and I was diagnosed with OCD and placed on antidepressants. I believe that these drugs serve to sever me even more from the present day. But the hoarding and the obsession did stop. I threw out my heavy chest of drawers and I renovated my house. On this medication, I was able to engage once more with my studies. However, the illness still plagued my mind. It was with me everywhere, and I slowly came to realize that it would never leave. It was a soul-deadening curse that would forever haunt me. It was the dark night of the soul. It was a graveyard full of bones. It was the moon's abhorrence. As a result of this, I dedicated all my time researching psychosis and made a name for myself in the discipline, publishing my research and lecturing in universities. As you all undoubtedly believe, as I do too, mental illness of this form stems from a lack of brain activity in the parts involved with self-motivation, selection, attention, self-control, decision-making, and visual processing. But this has all been turned upside down due to the radical scientific experiments performed by Dr. Wago into spleen removal. He discovered that the spleen generates nostalgia and melancholy and prohibits the body's production of dopamine. I found out about his research 2 years ago and immediately volunteered to undergo the procedure. I was one of the first. I was at the point of no return. I had realized that soon enough I would be so far off the map of life, but I would never see the rising sun. What I must stress to all of you is that the spleen is a fatal organ. Its removal is essential for survival in this modern progressive day. Its removal allows for individuals to function in a forward-facing society and rid themselves of the baggage of the past. And since the surgery, I have not once looked back. The results are remarkable. In me, the chemicals released from the spleen resulted in deep, agonizing nostalgia and an obsessive compulsiveness to store the past. In others, it can cause depression, schizophrenia, bipolarism. The list of disorders, originally classed as mental illnesses, goes on. However, what you must remember, and what you will have to relearn in your studies, is that these disorders are not diseases of the mind, but of the spleen. And I understand that this must come as a huge shock to you. It's shocked the entire medical world. As a way of helping you to understand all these changes and all this transition that has been occurring in this field, I've set up a website dedicated to info and to case studies of ex-spleen sufferers, from people who have suffered from this excessive spleen. Its purpose shall be to inform and to alert everyone of the condition, and presents everything, all this knowledge, all this new knowledge in a very humanizing way. I would highly advise you all to familiar yourself with this material before our next lecture. Thank you.